And they're so eager to hear more and more. So I thought, let us combine the children's class and the adults class together today. So thank you for tolerating me. And as my husband was saying, that Ramayan is a subject matter that we all have been hearing, anybody from Indian origin. Something or other we know about Ramayan. It's not a new thing. So that's really wonderful actually to start that we are going to discuss a subject matter that we kind of know already. And when we know it, sometimes we take it very easy or granted too. So one person, actually his name was Sam Maxwell. Does it go? It's off? I need my assistance now. Teacher assistant. Yeah. So it's a real life story. As a person's name, he was Sam Maxwell from New York City. So he heard a lot about this. India is a great country, their culture is amazing, they have this wonderful family structure. What is that keeps happening, all this? How does this happen? How do they stay together? They have this rich culture. He wants to experience it. Like if you just read in books, you don't understand what a rich culture is until you go to that place and see people and see the atmosphere and get to know all that. So he made a trip to India, and he didn't know where to go, where to land, which place to choose, which part of India to choose. So he just randomly picked a place, and that happened to be Chitrakoot. And he landed in Chitrakoot, not knowing the glories of that place. And as soon as he landed in that place, and he was just moving around that place, beautiful chants of Ramayan was heard everywhere. Any nook and corner you go, people are chanting Ramayan. People are chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Just that chant was so captivating. He didn't understand a word of what they were saying because it was in a different language. It was, for him, it was alien to him. But the chant was so energizing him, and he was feeling goosebumps, like, what is this chant? Amazing it is. So he said, wow, my journey is really very successful. The start is really good. So he kept moving further, he kept observing people, he kept hearing these spiritual chants. He kept moving, then he went on to Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and then, so just what I said was he heard that India is full of rich family traditions and values, so he went to find out what's India's biggest strength. And in January 1985, he landed in Chitrakoot. So from there, he continued his travel and came to a place called Manipur, a small village. And that whole day he was roaming around in the gullies, and he was kind of tired. But in one of the gullies he saw, there was this street shops in India. So there was a shop, there was a shopkeeper, and there was an old man sitting next to that shop. And he was so engrossed in reading from an ancient book. And there was a little kid playing there. The old man was looking very contented as he was reading the book. The shopkeeper, the person was contented, and he was doing his job of selling. He was sitting in that counter. And the kid who was playing also was happy playing his part playing as a child. So again he observed that this old man, he was so engrossed in reading this ancient grantha, the book. And that same, he remembered, oh, I heard this in Chitrakoot, it resembles the same chant. And it was so pulling him. So he went close to that old man and he said, sir, can I know what book are you reading? First time he made an attempt to find out what is that book. He just heard it, now he saw that there is a book, and he saw that somebody is reading it. So he said, let me go find out what is that book all about. So that old man was old, so his reflexes were slow. So he slowly looked up, raised his chin, and made an eye contact, and he said, I am reading Ramayan. So first time he's hearing that there is something called Ramayan. And he said, oh, this book is filled with beautiful messages. And whatever broken English the old man knew, in his own way, he said what Ramayan was. And he said, who is that man in that shop? And he said, oh, he's my son. He's taking care of the family business now. I'm getting old. I'm kind of retired, so I'm sitting and having Ramayan part every day. And who's that little kid? That is my grandson. He's playing. So Sam was like, this is very nice family. Oh, everybody's together, happy, doing their role and part. And he had a good feeling about India, and he came back. he didn't gain much of a deeper knowledge at his first visit. So after 30 years, he came back again to visit. Like he was in New York. He was getting old now, so he turned 55. And New York lifestyle is very hectic. So he was like, oh, this hustle and bustle and rush. I wish I want to go back to that old village. The rustic scene is still in my heart. And I want to hear those chants that were so soothing and peaceful. I want to go back. And he made his trip now straight to Manipur, and he went to that gully. And he was surprised. He saw again an old man sitting in that same place, reading from that book, and that middle-aged man taking care of the shop, and a little kid playing in the street. And he said, did time freeze in this Manipur? Am I the only one who got old and there was no effect of time in this place? He was so shocked, and he had to scratch himself and ask people around and say that, which year is this? What time is this? And people are like, really, are you crazy asking such questions? Don't you know it's January 2015? So, and then this man was like, okay, let me go ask him. He repeated those same questions that he asked, what book are you reading? And then same again, the old man came up. And when he started speaking and he understood, oh, this is not the old man that I met, but he's the son who was managing the shop, is now the grand old man who was leading, and the son is now, the little boy who was playing is taking care of the shop, and their grandson is now playing. So many things on a superficial level has changed with time, but on a deeper level, nothing has changed. So, and this actually got a big message in his life. And he writes a book, and he says, what is the strength that India has? And he summarizes it. And that kind of our life lessons starts from there. We have to hold on to things that are eternal. When I heard this word eternal, that's the classes that my husband is doing for so many weeks now, saying that how we are not these bodies, but we are who? Who are we? Who are we?
Soul.
Yeah, we are those spirit souls that is eternal. So during my young age, in one of the Hindi classes, the teacher would teach, "Machli jal ki rani hai, जीवन उसका पानी है, हाथ लगाओ डर जाएगी, बाहर निकालो मर जाएगी, but पानी में डालो तैर जाएगी." So she's jal ki rani. So she's the water is her space of survival. So we are the spirit souls. We need to connect with eternity. If we keep running and chasing behind the things that goes for all about this body, that we work and we run, what are we left with? Like that man at New York, the depression, anxiety, tension, and kind of at the end you don't feel fruitful. So what should we really connect to? Like that old man who had the family tradition. He did do his job, they were all satisfied, contented, and they were connected to that deep, eternal subject matter. And what was that subject matter? So peace and stability comes from constantly performing the same spiritual activity day in and day out. It doesn't have to be a new thing every day. So spiritual activities give you strength and that support, and it gives you peace. Only then your stability will come. If not, if we run behind things that are changing every day, we don't get stability. So there is a lot of clarity we get in life when we connect to an eternal space that transcends time. So he's using vague words like eternal space, so he doesn't know about Vaikuntha and all those stuff. Sam doesn't know. He's totally new to spiritual life. So he's using vague terms beyond whatever this world is. So he's using a term called eternal space. So we have to anchor our values on spiritual narrations. Strength of this Vedic culture is we prepare our eternal life while staying in this temporary world. So it made so much sense. I hope it's sticking with you all too. Moving on into the real story of Ramayan. So before I begin Ramayan, I would like to take blessings from my spiritual master. So I can say something that's relevant and not something from my own mind, but follow the scriptures, what I have been taught, and repeat those accordingly. Om Jnanatamidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadha Mahyam Dadati Swapanantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadhutam Pariyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swamin Nidinamine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nidinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashyatya Devatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. So, since we are doing Ramayan today, so we have to pay our obeisances to Valmiki Ji. This is very famous verse, most of us have heard. Would you like to repeat behind me? Kujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam. So the highlight of the word is kokilam, like a cuckoo bird is compared with that sweet singing cuckoo bird who is singing this Ramayan, the glories of Lord Ram, happily. So Valmiki said like a cuckoo bird here. Are the kids getting bored? Are they awake? You want to go ahead with the kids class with Gaurahari? Yeah, you can.
So many of you want, you can raise your hand.
You want to go?
Okay.
Gaurahari, go ahead.
Come.
Go ahead, Fabian. You want to sit here or you want to go? Yeah, I'll let you make a choice. Gaurahari is here for the kids' class, ready. Would someone like to read the translation? Just read it.
I salute Sage Valmiki, the nightingale, cuckoo bird, literally, who sings in sweet voice the sweet name of Rama Rama from the tree of poetry.
Simple. Thank you. And there is this next one. Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrinvan Ramakatanadham Konayati Param Gatim.
Who in this world will attain salvation? Who happened to hear the story of Rama, composed by the lion among poets, Valmiki, who always lived in the forests?
So the first one says he's a cuckoo bird, like the koel singing so sweetly, and the next one is saying he's roaring like a lion. So what a contrast between these two. So even if a lion does tapasya for 1,000 years, he can't sing sweetly like a cuckoo bird. Nor does the cuckoo bird does the tapasya, he can never roar like a lion. But why do they use this? How do we understand this? Using of analogy of explaining. So the literal sound, the dhwani of Ramayan, is so soothing and very nourishing. It's just like the song of the cuckoo bird. But the deep meanings of these verses that transforms and guides us are like the roar of a lion. When a lion roars, it shakes you up. It brings you back to whatever sleepy state we are. We come back to our real state. So those deep meanings are very transformative. So that's why he's compared to first love. It's so sweet, but it's also transforming. This verse is so beautiful. Actually, I am not so good at singing. Those of you who have from India heard Ramayan, this is how it starts, right? All those memories of watching Raman Sagar's Ramayan, and it explains very nicely.
The story of Sita and Ram are so pure, so sweet, so beautiful, and so appealing. Over and over, how often you hear it or recite it, your heart's cravings for it just doesn't get quenched.
These messages, even though we know so many stories of Ramayan, but the more we hear, the more sweeter it gets every time. I just wanted to, before I get into the story part of the lessons that we learn from those stories, I just wanted to say that we have more responsibility, that we have moved from that protective area of India, or our cultural zone. We have come out. That means we have more responsibility to share this message with our own family on a daily basis. Like we had our uncles and aunts and everybody next door, everybody was reading Ramayan or reciting it or talking about it or even watching that serial. So that was reminding like when I grew up as a kid, there was this talk everywhere there. But now for my own kid, this becomes like only when I talk, it's a talk. Or when I discuss, it's only me, one person. There were so many giving that information. But now it has become responsibility just from the parents, or if there is some kind of voluntary associations doing it, or the temple that happens to. So how much more now it's on our hands that we have to share this message to more people, especially starting from our own family. So reading those scriptures on a daily basis at our home as parents, it's our responsibility first to set that standards first in our house, like how we have our puja every day, the timing every day that we do our puja, the shlokas that every day we say it. So there is a model for our kids to see and learn. If not, it all stays in theory. There is nothing practical about it if we don't show them how to do it. It's not their fault if they don't learn it. So it's not our fault in the sense, but we have to make that effort. We have to provide them that situation and circumstances and that example. Hare Krishna. Please come. So I'm going to touch on the part where Lord Ram, Sita and Lakshman have already started their 14 years of exile. And they are at Chitrakoot, where Bharat and all the other Ayodhya-vasis, they cry and they leave them there and they all go back. And now Lord Ram is going to go ahead in his exile time from Chitrakoot. So this is a very beautiful picture I found. You could actually see that all the sages, they don't look very happy. They're all some kind of worry is there on their face. So when Lord Ram sees this, he actually, what he does is like he goes, like when I was preparing for this class, every talk that Lord Ram talks or he delivers is so soothing, like an angle different from what we hear on a daily basis, how we converse. So he goes and he tells the sages, I feel that something is going wrong, like you all look very worried. Have I behaved in such any inappropriate way that you all are sad? And then he doesn't stop there. He says, have I and my brother Lakshman behaved in a way that is befitting our lineage, our forefathers. It is not befitting their lineage, it's not reflecting them. Didai and my brother also behaved very badly. That's, you're looking all sad. And then he says, does Sita, did she offend you all in any ways? And then the sages are like, oh my God, it's getting too much. And they fold their hands and say, Lord Ram, how can you do any kind of fault? What faults can be there in you? And you, Lakshman and Sita, you are all our worshipable deities. There is nothing wrong in you, but we all are sad because these demons are creating a lot of trouble. And we are not able to continue our tapasya and our puja that we are able to do. So we are traumatized by these demons and we really seek your shelter and help. But we don't want to cause you trouble either. So they are in the dilemma between whether to tell the Lord or not to tell the Lord. So as soon as he's the Kshatriya king and he's concerned, so as soon as Lord Ram hears that, he feels again sad on himself that I had to wait to make you say this. How did I act right away, seeing that you all are in trouble, that I have to take care of these demons? So he says, okay, come on, Lakshmana and Sita, we should not be resting here. We have to go deep into the forest, not wait for the demons to come, but let us go find them and finish them off so we can protect the sages. So that compassionate nature of the Lord, and he always, when I hear these classes and these spiritual talks, the point that's always made is like when you have a problem in life, we always come to see that because of that person, I acted like this. We always blame, like we always point out the problem. So we never start from us. Like the problem, we never address us as it could be from me too. So this point, the Lord very nicely brings out that first he's never asking, but he's saying, did I cause you the problem that you're sad? So that we can learn from this beautiful pastime here. So as they move further down to the Dandakaranya forest, so we must be aware and conscious of our behavior and actions and how it reflects our lineage and ancestors. Truly feel concern for our fellow beings around us. This is called Jiva Daya. So the Jiva Karunyam should be there in each one's heart. This is an expansion, like we are a small part of the Lord's energy. So we have those same, like Satchitananda he is. So we also have, he feels compassion for all the living beings. We can't do so much, at least for some, at least near and dear ones, we should feel some Jiva Daya. So that is basic human nature. So first start having Daya on our own, for our own, this own Jiva, and then expand it to our family, and then to our extended family. It's very important. Sometimes in the rush of life, we forget these basic things of life too. So next comes, as they are moving further into the forest of Dandakaranya forest, this huge demon, he comes up, and they say that this demon, it's described in Ramayan as like, he was 10 times the height of Ram, Lakshman and Sita put together, 10 times. And he was having a huge spear, and in that spear he had lined up all the heads of animals, like 4 tigers, 10 elephants, and more sages. It was all jacked up and lined up on that spear. And with the other hand, he came angrily and grabbed Mother Sita. Like that fierceful he was. And he was a demon, so we don't have to describe. We all know what a demon terribly looks like. So this picture kind of tells us, like, he came to attack them. And you know what he says? He sees Lord Rama and Lakshmana and he says, "Oh, you hypocrites!" He calls them, "Oh, you hypocrites!" Why does he call that? He says that too. He says that you are dressed like an ascetic, like sages, but you don't look like that. You look like strong Kshatriyas. So your look and what you are does not match. So this is a great message from the demon to us. So if we try to dress appropriately, we have to, like they say, you have to dress for that occasion. So we have to also learn, like when we come to temple, the Panditji is always emphasizing that, how we have to dress appropriately when we come to temple, and how we have to get that culture growing and flowing to our kids so that they know that what it is, how we present ourselves. So what people see how we look, they don't know who we are. So even a demon, he's saying that. You look like sages, but you're not. You are all hypocrites. You are strong Kshatriyas. What are you doing here with this lady? For your dress, she doesn't look like you have to be with her. I'll take her. And then I'll feed on you, and I'll enjoy with her. That's what he says. And Lord Ram and Lakshman get on his case, and they are there to fire arrows and bring him down. So this was another picture. You could see how terrible he was with all that spear and everything. And then Lord Ram and Lakshman shoot so many arrows. His hands are cut. He's fully wounded. Even his heart is pierced with the arrow. But he does not die. Can you imagine? He laughs. He continues to laugh. He says, I have a boon from Lord Brahma that no weapons can harm me or kill me to death. So Ram says, okay, and he jumps on this demon's neck and he pushes him down. And he pushes him down and he says, Lakshman, dig a deep ditch. We'll bury this demon. If he does not die with my arrows, let us bury him. And when the Lord's feet touches the body of the demon, he comes to his senses. And he says, who are you? First time now he's asking, who are you both? And then he says, the Lord says, I am Ramachandra and this is Lakshman, and he says his lineage. And then the demon was like, oh, I was waiting for you to come for so many years. I am not this demon. I am Tumburu from my last birth, and I was in the kingdom of Kuvera. And I did not follow my master's order. I got cursed. And when I repented for the mistakes that I did, Kuvera said, okay, now that I have cursed you that you become a demon, but since you repented, your curse will come away when Lord Ram's lotus feet is placed on your body. And he feels thankful that that day has come now. My curse is done. Lord Ram has come and that his lotus feet is on me. And he says, thank you. And Lord Ram says, that's all good. Now tell us where to go. Your business is done. Now you are cleared of your sin. Tell us how to further proceed in this Dandaka forest. How do we go? What is the route to go further? And then this demon very nicely and being thankful, he says, please bury me so that I can go back to my spiritual form. And you have to go further. There is one very nice, like how I was waiting for you to come to deliver me. There is another Rishi waiting for you. And he has been waiting for a really long time. So please go ahead, and that Rishi is Sharabhanga Rishi. So let's see. So I'm sorry for skipping that part. From this story we learned was never disobey the orders of your spiritual master, because Tumburu disobeyed Kuvera's order. That's how he got cursed. If we commit mistakes, we must at least truly repent and ask for forgiveness. So we do commit mistakes, it happens, but at least we should have that true repentance and ask for forgiveness. And spiritual masters are always merciful, and even the punishment turns into benedictions. So like how Kuvera's curse became a benediction for this Vidada, that Lord Ram personally came to deliver him back to the spiritual world. So now meeting of Sharabhanga Rishi. Many of you must have seen Ramayan, like I have seen too from a young age. But when I was preparing for this class and reading these pastimes, I said, I have never heard this Rishi's name only. Like that's how my memory was like. I didn't go deep into knowing these pastimes maybe or knowing about his glories. So as I was reading his glories about Sharabhanga Rishi, he has done so much tapasya that he has conquered from Brahmaloka to all the heavenly planets. He has conquered everything with his yogic mystic powers. He had so much power, and he was fully knowledgeable, and he was he didn't have to sit there and meditate anymore in this material world. He could have just gone back, but he was there, waiting just to see Lord Ram. And as Lord Ram, Sita, and Lakshman walked into the forest and they came, very beautiful scene was seen in the sky. A golden chariot came with so many celestial beings fanning somebody, some person was there. He walked into this Rishi's ashram. He came out. They again flew up and they looked back. They looked directly at these three people and they just vanished and they were gone. And Sita and Lakshman were like, who are these celestial beings? They look so beautiful and effulgent. And Ram just smiled. He knows the answer, so he just smiled. He said, let's find out from the Rishi. So they walk and they go to Sharabanga Rishi's ashram in. So this was that celestial being, just to give you a picture. And this is how Sharabanga Rishi received Lord Ram. When he saw Lord Ram, he just froze out of happiness. He just began drinking his beauty, just looking at him. He didn't even know to start worshipping or paying obeisances or what to do. He was surprised, shocked, and so happy. All emotions together when he saw this beautiful Lord Ram right at his doorstep. And then when he came back to his senses, he brought them in and he made them sit inside the ashram and served them. And Lord Ram asked him that he gave him his time to get back. So he said, I have a question. Who were some celestial people we just saw before us coming? Somebody came into your ashram just now. And Sharabanga Rishi was like, oh yeah, that was Indra. He just came and he informed me that he had a calculation of all my pious credits. And he said, with all the calculation, you're ready now with this body, you can come back now to the heavenly planets. It's waiting. We are ready to welcome you, to take you with us to the spiritual kingdom. And Lord Ram was like, so why don't you go? That kind of like a look. And Sharabanga Rishi was like, I told him, I don't want to go anywhere else. I am waiting in this human form. I want to see Lord Ram. I want to have darshan of Lord Ram before I quit this body. So I'm not ready, I told him. And then Sharabanga Rishi laughs and he says, now if Indra comes, and he says that, now that you have seen Lord Ram, now you come. Sharabanga Rishi said, now that I have seen Ram, what is the need for heaven now? So he was like, I am completely satisfied having your darshan. Lord Ram was just drinking his devotion, the way, how much devotion, bhakti he had for Lord Ram. So Sharabanga Rishi, this is the highlight of today's class. If you don't remember anything from today's class or you remember everything, just this one point, if it gets into your heart, it will be amazing. Because the last class, my husband was talking about all the different types of karma, akarma, vikarma, and all those things. How do we do it and all that. So this Rishi is going to show us how he did it. He asked that please remove all the credits of my pious activities. Can you imagine? He said, oh Lord Ram, can you please take away all that, just wipe out all my credits of pious activities. Why? Because that will take me to heavenly planets and my only wish is to serve you. So in this game of life, we always have our freedom to choose. That is our freedom. If it's not taken away from us, it will never be taken away from us. But the point is, every minute when you have that free will, if you don't make the right choice, like if Sharabanga Rishi left with Indra, he made the right choice at that right moment. He didn't know that Ram was waiting just a few feet away. If he would have gone back to heavenly planets is compared to like 5-star hotel. Giving you a crude example. When your bank, whatever money you have paid is finished, they will send you out. Till that time, you are given kingly welcome and everything. But once your pious credit is done, you are back again to the Mrityaloka. So you don't want to go back to a place to come back again. So Lord Ram said, you're not going to go to all the heavenly planets. You're going to go beyond to the Vaikuntha Dham, where you don't have to come back. So that's the blessing he gets. So this is because he made the right choice. And how do we make those right choices? So we should always act taking help from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we have this mind of ours, which is always confusing. So we always need our Guru, Sadhus, and Shastra to guide us at every step. That's where we're reading these scriptures, having spiritual discussions, coming together, talking about these pastimes, learning lessons from this. It helps us. When we never know when that decision-making situation will be ours. We have it on a daily basis in our life. So hope you all are awake. Thank you. So moving ahead, then the Rishi tells, thank you, Lord Ram. Now you could go further down in the way, and there is this next Rishi. His name is Tichna Rishi. And he was a disciple of Agastya Muni. And when he did all his schooling and he was done, he went and asked to Agastya Muni that, how can I give you Guru Dakshina? What kind of Guru Dakshina can I give you? Agastya Rishi was very cheeky and he said, when you see Lord Ram, make sure you bring him to me. That was the Guru Dakshina he asked, out of his greed to serve the Lord. So Tichna Rishi took it very seriously and he sat in meditation, completely absorbed on this personality called Lord Ram, whom he has not literally seen. Just waiting for the day that when will he come so that I can take him to my spiritual master Agastya Rishi. That became his life's mission after that, when Agastya Rishi asked that. And he sat in total meditation, just total meditation from that day. So this is a beautiful scene. You could see that the Lord came to Sutiksha Rishi's ashram, but Sutiksha Rishi is in total rapt meditation. So the Lord had to enter his heart and tell that I have come, now you can open your eyes. And then he opens the eyes and he's like, really? He's here? And he's so happy that he receives the Lord and he takes him next to the next stop that is going to be Agastya Rishi's ashram. So on this whole way, it's a forest. It's a Dandakaranya forest. So those of us who are not much aware, we know that it's not going to be neat roads, nice path. It's all scary, dark and thorny. That's how the path is. That's a forest. But as they move towards Agastya Rishi's ashram, suddenly the scene changes. Beautiful valley, fruit-bearing trees, soft green grass, and Sita was like, how is this possible? Doesn't look like a forest anymore. Did we take some diversion or anywhere and get to a nice garden somewhere? How is this in between all this forest? And then Lord Ram says the glories of Agastya Rishi, that Agastya Rishi is so spiritually powerful. He has, in his city, he already knew that we are coming. So he has created this beautiful path for us, welcoming us into his ashram. So his love and devotion, he has created all this for us. And they just feel so overwhelmed about hearing the glories of Agastya Rishi as they are walking towards his ashram. So just to tell you, like when I was reading, how these rishis all were so powerful, so they knew everything. Sometimes when we read scriptures, I do hear this a lot of time. Oh, you're wasting your time. You could do something better. This will get you nowhere. All these kind of things that I hear from the people around me. Not a fraction of the cities that these rishis all had, we have. Or will never have with kind of education that we are getting in. And the peace and love they all had, I don't think none of us have it either. So these scriptures are our basis. So we need to make that discrimination on. People will say so many things. Log kya kahenge? That's a saying kind of, it has happened nowadays. So log kya kahenge? People keep talking. But we need to know what's right, and we need to take that path, and we need to endeavor to keep moving in that path. Many times they say that there's one moon, many stars, so we know it doesn't matter if you have many stars or not, but that one moon is really more important. So kind of not to discriminate them, but to just say that in a shop where diamonds are sold, you won't have a big crowd. When things are sold cheap, you may have a big crowd of people. So we don't run behind cheap stuff. If we think we are smart, we should go for the diamond and the hardest one. That is, spiritual life is really hard. It's not that easy to understand. So all these rishis, they left everything, their family life, their social life. Why did they do that? Didn't they know? Didn't they have any brains or anything like that? They had super brains. Because they knew they are going to go and for that eternal life, that you don't have to come back and fight again in this chakra of life, of birth, old age, disease, and death, which we have no control over. It's common for all. Nobody has any control over. Birth, disease, old age, and death. If it doesn't sound bad, Just meditate on it and you will know. Just a common cold is enough for us to understand this birth, disease, old age, and death, how difficult it is. So that's where you could see how Agastya Rishi, this painting was very nicely done where they are welcoming, and you see the expression of all those sages. Everybody wants to give something to Lord Ram. Whatever they could grab, you see that person jumping on the tree and getting that fruit. Everyone's hand is bending down to offer the love to Ram. Does Ram just need fruits? No, it's that bhakti, that devotion. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayaschari tataham bhakti upahritam ashnami priyata manaha. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, just a leaf, just a fruit, just some water. Give that to me with devotion and love. I will accept it. The Lord says it like Gita. So the Lord is not greedy for our money, but He's greedy for our bhakti, the devotion. So that devotion you could see in every sage's act. Just take it, my Lord. What else can I give you? What else can I give you? What do I have? Their heart, they're putting it out. It's not the fruit, but the act of devotion. So Agastya Muni is all-knowing, and he's very powerful, as I said. So he gives beautiful gifts to Lord Ram. So what he gives is a very celestial golden bow and 2 inexhaustible quivers to Lord Ram, and he also gives a sword, a golden sword for him. So this comes very handy for the fight to happen ahead.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
I know some of the pictures you're capturing is from the epic, but on the right hand side, like just you showed the picture of the bow and things. Are they from some sculptures or something, or they are also from the same?
No. I think there's a Ramayan series in the pictorial form.
Okay.
So the painting form. So from that I got that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But early on, when you started, you were showing how Lord Rama was sitting, and there were some other people.
They
that's
have
not from Ramayan, but that is from some. Oh, that's also
The
from
painting Ramayan. There is a website where it says the Ramayan is in the painting form.
Oh, you got it all from those.
I got it from those. So further down, Agastya Rishi shows the place where they have to go next. That is Panchavati, and he says, go there and settle down. That's where I want you to move further down in the Dandakaranya Falls. So as they walk, they see this huge bird. And when I was thinking how big the Jatayu must be, maybe I thought maybe like an eagle, vulture, he is maybe big, really big. My mind didn't go big or bigger or biggest, what else, I don't know. It couldn't think more bigger than that. But it is said that he was big as a mountain peak. So he was not a tiny bird fighting against Ravana. He was a mighty bird. He was really mighty. So at another point, he was as big as a mountain. If somebody is huge, we get fearful. Like Lord Ram knew who is a demon, who is not, by their glances. So even animal has glance. So he did not get threatened or think that, oh, there is a demon sitting there. It's our instinct to say that, oh, what's the next demon now? Come on, now we had that Virada. Now who is this one, the big, huge bird? Like, the fear didn't come in their heart, it seems, because they saw the love of Jatayu in his eyes already. So Jatayu tells his lineage saying that my father is Aruna, and he is a charioteer of the sun god. And I am the nephew of Garuda. And he also says that myself, Jatayu, and he says that I would love to be the guardian of Mother Sita since you're going to be here. As you go out and do the forest job, I'll be here protecting Mother Sita. And Ram said, yes, sure, I'll be very happy. That'll be really nice. You could be around. And he says that his brother Sampati lost his wings when they were young. They were trying to go very close to the sun. And when you go close, you'll get burned. And Jatayu was younger, so he didn't understand that fire burns concept. So Sampati covered the brother with his wings and protected the younger brother, and he lost his own wings because of that, the protected older brother. So, and Jatayu also saved Dasharath Maharaj in one of his battles, and we all know that he fought till his last breath against Ravana to save Mother Sita. So there is elaborate classes on Ramayan just focusing on the devotion of Jatayu. It may look like he lost the battle against Ravana. It looks like he's a loser. No, in the eyes of Lord Ram, he's the winner. He won, he gave his life to save Mother Sita, and he was the one who showed the way, like he said, how to go ahead in the process of finding Sita. That is the person called Ravana who captured Mother Sita. Till then, Ram was clueless. What happened that Sita is gone? Who took her? Where did she go? So Jatayu actually shows the way. So he tells the story of really how Ravana came and kidnapped Mother Sita. So, and the great point was that his last rites were performed by Lord Ram. Lord Ram could not even perform his father's own last rites. So he performed personally the last rites of Jatayu. What a Lord we have, and what a devotee we have. What a relationship. Beautiful. The Lord is not like a boss who is exploiting his disciples or his bhaktas. He loves them more than what we can love him. So he does more than what we can give. So it's like how a kid takes the father's money or asks the mama words to write, how do we write, hold my hand, happy birthday daddy, or goes to the garden where the mommy has planted roses and plucks one of her roses and goes and gives it to her saying, happy birthday mommy. The mother feels happy, the father feels loved. They don't say, hey, this is my rose you're giving back to me. You took my money to buy something for me. Nobody, we just see that love. So if we simple humans can be that loving, that Supreme Lord, who is all love personified, how much loving he is, and how happy we must be knowing more about it, more about him, and relish that relationship of knowing him more and serving him more. So this was one nice, there is a person in Kerala, he built Jatayu Park. That is the place Jatayu fell from when he was fighting with Lord Ravana. And that's how huge he is. That was a real size. He went deep into Ramayan finding the details of the dimensions of Jatayu, and that's the real size of Jatayu, 200 feet long. So it's a mighty huge bird. And then we can imagine the nephew Garuda, who is Vishnu's Vahan. How mighty and how big is he? And the Lord, who is sitting on top of him, how mighty and how big is he? So we all know the story a lot about Shurpanaka pastime. I will not go very deep into it, but there is a very nice way of saying how Shurpanaka, what does it means to be a demon? Now we don't see people with having two tusks coming out of their teeth, coming out of their mouth, and the horns on top of the head. Demons don't come that way nowadays. So where are those demons? So demons are within ourselves. So in Kali Yuga, the good and bad is within ourselves. So we have a tougher job to take away that demonous nature from within. So we have to fight, we have an inner battle. We always have an inner battle. Now the battles are not external a lot. We can spot a Ravana, we can't spot to go and get that battle done. So here Shurpanaka, what she does is when, most of you know the story when she sees Lord Ram, she disguises initially to be a beautiful lady to approach and says, why don't you marry me? And as she is talking, it is said that her original nature of demon comes back. Like from the beautiful lady, she turns back into the demoness form. In front of the Lord, we can show our duplicate nature. It comes out, the true form comes out. So Ram actually laughs at this point, that she thinks she's still in that beautiful form, but she's back in her original form and she's proposing me to marry her. And Ram understands this demon nature and he just sways her back to saying that I already have my wife. Lakshman is strong and you see he's alone here by himself. Why don't you marry him? And that demon nature is what, like, she was not having any bhakti or devotion towards the Lord. When he said go there, she was ready to go there. She said, okay, if not you, at least him. Let me try him. So our bhakti should not be like the Shurpanaka's attraction to the Lord. She had an external attraction towards the Lord, but not the real bhakti. So we cannot go to the Lord and say that, okay, I need to pass my exams or get good results or get me a house or something, and if that doesn't happen, okay, this God doesn't work, let me try something else. That is Shurpanaka mentality. Exactly. So we laugh when we hear the story of Shurpanaka, but if we do that, we are not different from Shurpanaka. Right? So it's like demanding. Where can we demand? If I have given you something, then maybe I can demand. And nowadays even that, we can demand once you give, it's gone. But at least then I say, you have taken my thing. Like if I own something, I can ask back. But everything is Lord's, His creation. Every bit and parcel of it is His energy. What right do we have to go and demand Him? Okay, chalo mujhe exam mein pass kara. Like challenge Him, okay, I'll break a coconut. Maximum I can give you. Or it's like a bargaining deal. So we are not merchants with the Lord. That's not the relationship that we have. So why are we doing that? Like unknowingly, somehow we have got this, I wouldn't term this culture. It was a nice way of upbringing, saying we do pujas, we make offerings. That is nice. But the mentality, like nobody, when you take a thali and do arati now right inside our temple, nobody standing next to us, nobody would know what's going in our heads, because we would be having a conversation. My Lord, next week these things are happening. I will make sure, I'll put so much in the hundi, I'll do this, I will sponsor a feast, whatever. We don't make deals with the Lord. So we need to check ourselves at every act of devotion that we do, that there is no bargaining mentality with the Lord. Because the Lord is Paramatma in our heart. He knows from within. The closest person next to our heart is Paramatma. Not even my husband, not even my kid will know what I'm thinking as I'm giving this talk or doing any act. But the Lord, from inside as Paramatma and outside as the Supreme Lord, He's watching from all directions. He is so omnipresent. He just doesn't know just each one, but even not a blade of grass moves without His sanction means how much He knows. He's a knower, all knower He is. So we can't try to do the cheating with Him. And then play that trick. Like our mind actually does this actually. Because when we are put under some kind of a pressure situation, it doesn't just have to be an examination. As we grow older in age, like there could be a problem of health crisis. So we may go pray to the Lord, my Lord, please protect this kid. That is nice. Praying that please protect my kid, please protect, but not in the exchange way. You do this, I'll do it, I'll do this to you. That's the bargaining part that we don't want to do. We pray, but we don't put a clause. And if it didn't happen for whatever reason, then we don't say that I will stop my worship now. My dealing is done. He doesn't hear. He's just a stone. He does what he wants. He doesn't listen to me, as if he's an appointed guard. I walk away. So still, the Lord doesn't leave. He comes along with us. So when we do this act of walking away from the Lord, who is the loser? Who is the one who's going to miss? The Lord feels the pain. Like when a kid says, Amma, you don't do anything for me, and just gets mad at me. I feel the pain, but I don't lose my love for my kid. But the kid, as he runs away out of the house, he's going to be out of my protection. He's going to be out there with nobody taking care of him, with no money or whatever. That anger is not going to do any good for that kid. So if we act like that, running away from the temple or beautiful shelter of the Lord. It's our news. Whom else can we take shelter of if not Him? So we have to come back to our senses, and we have to come back and say that now if we feel we are grown-ups and we know what we are doing, we have to come out of the childful mentality of now. I want things now. That's called like immediate gratification. I need it now. It means now. What it means to grow means to wait. We learn how to wait for the right time, for the right thing to happen. So in this regard, a beautiful story comes to my mind where my mom always says that the mother, in those days or even nowadays, we do crochet knitting, and the child is lying on the lap of the mother. And when you see somebody who is knitting, the bottom part of it is so messy. You can't even look because all the colors and everything is just going randomly everywhere. The child is looking like, why is my mommy wasting her time doing all this crazy work? It looks absolutely crazy for the child who is lying on the mother's lap and seeing the knitting from below. And the child asks the mother, why are you wasting your time, mommy, doing? You scream at me if I color haphazardly, and you say, please color within the lines and be neat and everything, but you are doing such a horrible work. Stop it. And the mom says, beta, just come up and look from my view. It's a beautiful design from the top. So if we see things chaotic, we only know from the Lord's angle, things are very different. We are on a different angle that we are looking at stuff. So we need to have the patience and wait and have that faith that my mother is my protector. My Lord will never give me up at any cost. He loves me more than what I can love Him. This conviction we need to have in our heart. He is my Lord, my Lord. So that point, till that time, that faith does not let us take that surrender. It's so important to know He's not just standing there. That Paramatma in our heart is ours. He's my Father. He's my Mother. Eternally, whatever Janma I take, He's ready to come with me. He's ready to be there at every difficult situations, happy moments. He's there with me, watching me, guiding me from internally. He loves me. Who tells all this? Scriptures. So how important it is for us to hear these scriptures, discuss these scriptures, talk about it, tell to our kids, share with our friends. We talk to our family every other day, or almost every day. So there is phone, WhatsApp messages. Why don't we share this mercy of Lord on those messages? Right? It's so beautiful. So we not only strengthen our faith, but we also strengthen people's faith more on this basis. So we will end soon. So Shurpanaka had a very tough time, and Ravan said, okay, now it's getting a lot, the fight is getting too much. Lakshman, take care of, just do something and stop her, but don't kill her. She's a female demon. So the Lord is always pakka on his moral course. If you know the Tataka demon, she was also a female, the first demon that Lord Ram killed. But he killed only when the Guru said, you've got to shoot her, if not she's going to get very strong. And the Guru said he shot, but now the Guru was not around to tell, it's a she-demon, still it's okay, you can kill. But no, he said, I will not kill. Just cut the nose off, and that was all enough to make her feel terrible. She runs, she goes to her brothers, Kara and Dushan, and these two are Ravana's brothers too. And they were taking care of the northern part of the territory of Ravana. That was the Dandaka forest. So they were protecting that forest, and protecting in the sense they were eating all the rishis in that forest, and that was their capital there. So she goes there, and when Kara and Dushan see the sister in this form, that she's coming running like that, and she cries, and Kara says, who has harmed me? His dialogue, when I was reading that part of Ramayan, he said, he didn't ask who has harmed you, he said, who has harmed me? Why would somebody say that? Because for him, anyone within his jurisdiction being harmed is like attacking him, so like challenging his power. Who has had the guts to do this to you, to shake me from my position? They don't know that Kara and I'm here. So that was his mentality of saying. So he sends his brother Dushan first Dushan goes along with 14,000 Sena of demons to fight. Can you imagine one Lord Ram there? And all these demons are coming to now take revenge for the sister. And when they come as this dark cloud, 14,000 of these demons, and Lord Ram says, okay, Lakshmana, the time has come for the bow and quivers that I have got. Take Mother Sita immediately to a protective place. And Lakshmana was like, I feel like a fighting spirit, but what to do? The honor comes first. So he had to take Mother Sita and keep her protected. And Lord Ram, it's described in Ramayan that he was like an effulgent sun in front of the black, dark pitch cloud. They just surrounded Lord Ram. And they were pouring and firing arrows. And it's always said that Lord Ram is of one arrow, one word, and one wife. So just one arrow he needs to finish up everything. So that's his style. So he was spinning in that speed. When the fan spins, you feel like it's kind of stopped. He was attacking the demons, and each demon felt he was having a private battle with Lord Ram. But that's the speed with which Lord Ram was spinning around and showing his prowess of fighting spirit. So he just finished them like just tests, all gone. And then when this message was reached to Kara was like, what? And still it didn't sink. How powerful is this person they're talking about, this Ram? And he says, oh, Dushan is not that strong. He still has demon mentality. So he says, okay, I'll go. And when he was ready to go, Kara was stopped by another demon called Trishira. Trishira said, no, Trishira means a demon with 3 heads. So he said, no, my lord, I'll go. So he goes with another 5,000, and he's all gone too. And then Kara says, no, now it's my turn now. I have to go. So he takes another bunch of demons and he goes and he says that, oh Ram, so far you've been fighting with like just simple Sobal demons. Let's have a real fight now. Come face me. He challenges Lord Ram. And he just fights. He's strong. He is equivalent to 5,000 demons himself. That's the power of Kara. And when he fights with Lord Ram, it's really tumultuous fight. And he loses everything. Like, you could see, it's a picture where before an arrow goes, you could see that how so many things are happening in that picture. The chariot is gone, the heads are flying, and even this person couldn't even hold the bow. Before that, that's the speed of Lord Ram's arrows. And when that happened, Kara was left with nothing, no weapons. And Ram strung his bow, and he waited. He did not kill Kara. He went close. He told him, Kara, why are you doing this? Come back to your senses. Like how a nice father chastises the kid and wants to correct him. So Lord Ram said, come back to your senses. He was giving some good advice. What to do? Vinashakale viparita buddhi. So what to do? That's what happens. And he could not function normally, so he couldn't understand the advice the Lord Ram was giving. So he, in spite of all that was gone, he had his mace. So he picked up his mace, and his mace is said to be so powerful that it can smash the doors of heaven. I'm like, what? And further it says that if you throw his mace, a whole army in front of you of demons or whoever, it will be all vanished. That's a powerful mace he had, and he throws that towards Lord Ram. And when the mace came flying towards Lord Ram, all the trees, the birds, the whole scene of the forest got burned by the heat of the mace as it came flying towards Ram. The powerful mace of Kara. And Ram had to just release his bow. That's all he had to do. And it was in powders, just gone in powders. And again, now Lord Ram strings the arrow and he waits and looks at Kara and he says, now what do you have? There's nothing. Now you can understand what you're doing is wrong. He starts to give his advice again. But Kara laughs and he says, you think I'm weak? And he has some magical powers. So he became so many Karas and he surrounded Lord Ram and he began fighting. And Lord Ram finished every kara except the original kara. Still another chance. He again struck that bow and he said, Kara, you have nothing left now. And he waited, hoping if he senses he comes back, he can surrender. And you know what Kara did? Did not take that word seriously, and he didn't understand how he's losing the battle. He just became more and more puffed up with his ego, and he became big in size. He just grew as much as he can. And he came running to just fall on Lord Ram and crush him. And Ram just released that arrow. And it says that when he released that arrow, it pierced his heart, it made such a big hole, and it was an anti-gravitational thrust. He was flying up. And he fell down. As he was falling down, Lord Ram said, please go and hug Mother Earth as a beloved hugs her mother, his lover. So he just, Kara is finished. This lesson of Kara, we get many chances in our life. So we need to watch out if sometimes we do mistakes, but when given a chance, we should rectify it and say, Lord, I am sorry. Just have to go and say that to the Lord. Like we expect our kids, little ones, to say that, Mama, I'm so sorry. Ho gaya, bhul ho gaya, please forgive me. We expect that from our kids, but we don't do that sometimes. That word sorry is such a hard thing to come out of this mouth. Because our big fat ego stops us from doing that. So we don't have to see ego in front of our mother and father. That's our Lord. So we should fold our hands. The act of folding hands, the Anjali, is all that we have to do. And from a repentant heart, have to open up and say that, my Lord, I am sorry and I'm yours. And the Lord Ram says, just once, if you say that, I will protect you. So we finish here. And since I said that Ramayan is a beautiful, beautiful scripture with 24,000 verses, this Ramayan can be maybe hard for those of us who don't know how to read it. So this one very nice devotee, he has composed very easy lines for kids to recite in their house with every day in a family. So maybe we can give it a try. We all can read it together. This is only Bala Khanda. He has all the 7 khandas like this. Just few 22 lines, which all ends with Ram, and it's a beautiful meditation of Lord Ram. So can we give it a try? Gaura is there? So myself and my son Gaura Hari, we read that every day, and we try to memorize it. So it's been helpful so far. Gaura Hari, can you be quick? So we'll all read with you. You can just look at and read. There you go. Start. Just first one. Shuddha Brahma Parapara Kalatmaka Parameshwara Sheshatalpa Sukha Nidritara Brahmadhyamara Pratitara Chanda Kirana Kula Vandanaram Srimad Dasharatha Nandana Kaushalya Shugavardhana Vishwamitra Priyadana Goratataka Ghatakala Marichadini Patakala Kaushikamaka Samrakshakala Srimalahadyoddharakala Gautama Muni Sampujitala Suramuni Varagana Samstutara Navikadavita Mridupadara Mitila Purajana Mohakara Videhamana Saranjakara Tambaka Karmaka Banjakara Siddharpitavana Malikara Pritavaivadika Kautukara Bhargavadarpa Vinashakara Srimadayodhya Palakara Rama Rama Jaya Raja Rama Rama Jaya Sita Rama Rama Jaya Raja Rama Rama Jaya Sita Rama Rama Jaya Raja
Jaya Sitaram.
Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Thank you all so much for your attention and time. I'm going to ask a quiz. There was one demon that did not get killed in that 14,000. Try to find out who is that. If you know the answer, you can share. If not, I am not going to tell the answer. That's going to keep you go to Ramayan or Ramanand Sagar serial. Go find out what did that one demon who saw all this and how did he go and tell whom? He gave the real picture of who is this Ram to somebody else, and then the whole thing happened. So I'll let you find out. There goes the suspense.